But the opposition, Congress says that the bill in its present format is non-negotiable. They are not going to cooperate.
Well, it's very surprising. When the Congress wanted this bill to be passed, we said yes. So they had brought it before the elections. They thought they would get a dividend on it. They could not. Now we are in government, and I can tell you, we understand the needs of the country. And one aspect which is not being spoken is the states which do not want to implement this, the states which do not want to have those points to be incorporated in their law, they are free not to do it. So where is the problem? And today is a time when there is not going to be a competition between the states and the center. The time is coming when there would be a federal competition. The states would compete against each other. In that state, those states who would like this law to be amended can't be restrained because some people have a politics behind it. And this government is not there because we are not for farmers, but we are there for farmers. We would protect the issues of the farmers, the rights of the farmers, the interest of the farmers, but at the same time see that the promise made to the nation has to be accomplished. And let the government of the day decide it.
But doesn't it worry you that this whole bill is being turned around in a way which says that, well, BJP is anti-farmer. The whole concept becomes pro-rich and anti-farmer. Doesn't it worry you? You've got elections on the corner.
This is the rhetoric which is being raised, and we can see it through. That there is a certain element of politics and there is a major element of rhetoric. At the end of the day, after 5 years, people of this country will ask us, what have you done for us? And they will not say that this law did not take place and we could not do it because this was not correct and others. They would ask us, and we are answerable to them. Even the farmers of this country, the youth of this country, the business houses of this country, every sector and the state is going to ask us, and we are answerable to them. So we cannot, because they have numbers of politics in the Rajya Sabha. That is not the mandate which the people of the country have given them in the Lok Sabha. So a constitutional provision is enabling them to create this obstruction, which we are sure to cross over very soon.
But are you open to suggestions at this stage also?
Yes, we have made amendments. We have been talking to all the political parties. How come in this country, BJP as a political party, and where more than 500 million people working in the unorganized sector and almost 54% of them in directly having a livelihood from the farm sector, how do you think we can think about not protecting the interest of farmers? Which political party in this country can even remotely think of that?
Are you in touch with regional parties because they hold the key to every piece of legislation?
We are in touch with all political parties, and we would be in touch with all political parties, and we would see that we are able to convince them. They have every right to do politics on the bill. They will create a rhetoric. They will talk about issues. But in fact, the chief ministers of the states, when Mr. Nitin Gadkari was the minister handling the charge of rural development, many of the states, like Congress-ruled states like Prithviraj Chavan and many more, had come forth and said that, no, this will stop the growth of the nation.
But they are pretty agitated about the consent clause. You know, they want the 80% to be retained.
You see, when it comes to private, there's no change in that clause. We are not saying that the private parties, if they have to go for an acquisition, they need that consent clause. Government has to take calls on defense, on infrastructure. If we have promised housing for all by 2020, how would we do it if we do not have enough land to do it for the people? And we have raised the compensation from two to 4 times. So at the end of the day, the government is not sitting a lame duck. We are there to aggressively put forth the aspirations of the people.
But doesn't it worry you, because you are also handling parliamentary affairs? Doesn't it worry you that it's going to affect the parliament session?
No, it doesn't worry us, because we accept this fact that we have the numbers in the Lok Sabha, and the people of this country must realize how certain groups are playing politics, how those who have gone out of power cannot think of a situation where they are trying to, they are trying to find a small space for themselves in politics. That much space they will get. But beyond that, if they want to stall the functioning of the government, that may not be possible.
Let me take you to a different subject. One of your colleagues in the council has made a very racist comment. Mr. Giriraj Singh spoke about women, and that too at a particular point of time when the Prime Minister has spoken about Beti Bachao Andolan, and his speeches have continuously and consistently spoken about the issues of empowerment.
Well, you're talking about my colleague. He has no business whatsoever to make such a remark. He has been pulled up. The national president of the party, Mr. Amit Shah, that is what I read in the media, has pulled him up, which he would have done otherwise also, whether it was reported in the media. And I think the Prime Minister never, and I would repeat, never would endorse or does endorse such statement. It's very unfortunate. But he has also apologized, but the damage is done. We have to admit that we cannot, whatsoever, whether it's my political party or any political party, we cannot make such remarks at whatsoever cost.
Do you feel that there should be some demonstrative action?
Well, these things, in a process of politics, there are many more things which we have seen happening. It is unacceptable, and it is, but this is an act which smears the image of the overall polity. And this realization has to come. We have heard such remarks being made by other political leaders recently, and he also changed his version from one of the regional parties. We have seen many more such remarks coming up. That doesn't mean that you behead him.
Like Thumka remark?
But at the end of the day, the whole polity watches such colleagues of ours speak that language, which is not endorsed, whether my party or the Congress party, or for that matter, any party.
You're saying the damage has been done, but today, if you look at all the cities, the massive protests have been organized by
naturally
by the opposition
so
party.
that doesn't mean that the government is going to fall tomorrow. These things can be refrained from. This is absolutely uncalled. How can you make such a bizarre remark? So this is an uncalled remark, and if people are agitated, they have right to be agitated.
And even the Nigerian High Commission.
Of course, I've read all that. Of course, this is insane, and this should become an example for others that you cannot make such remarks.
Okay, Bihar. I think that's where the action is going to be. How is BJP positioned there?
BJP is number one in Bihar.
What makes you so confident?
100%.
Why?
People. Last 35 years, you have to step in Bihar to know what Bihar is today. I don't say you feel ashamed, but you feel disgusted. They have created, we as politicians in Bihar, and I'm also a part of it, last 25 years I've been in active politics. We have created a slum out of politics in Bihar. We have created a slum out of a city, of a capital, of the state, of the districts. We have lost vision. There is absolutely no vision in the state. And it's all politics. The bread and butter of all this, whether it's been Congress for a long time, and then we had the stint of 15 years of Lalu Yadav, whom I contest in parliament, and his wife, and who goes to jail and still remains the leader of the people, the vision of the state. He is succeeded by Mr. Nitish Kumar, who becomes a bigger visionary and talks about development and joins hands with Lalu Yadav, kills the state for good in all politics. But he divides. We used to hear about OBC and backward politics and the forward politics and Muslim politics and the Hindu politics. Nitish Kumar comes and creates a Pichda and Ati Pichda, Dalit and Mahadalit, because he knows that is how everyone in Bihar is doing exactly. Who has ever thought about Bihar? I will not pardon myself, but Bihar is in pits.
What does it require?
Well, the people have to get up, overcast. Across the country, we find people from Bihar doing so well. When it comes to the state, we are lost.
But BJP, JDU did pretty well together.
No, not really. Not really. And that is why my dream in politics in Bihar, my dream, I am already 52 years, 53rd. And my dream in Bihar is, at least for the first time, to see a BJP government. And I'll do anything to see a BJP government in Bihar.
Why did you say that it wasn't good? The years you had with JDU.
Well, I am not satisfied. Yes, we partner governments, but I'm not satisfied.
And you got thumping majority.
We got thumping majority in the state in a combination. We expected Nitish Kumar. He's a repository of wisdom. We see politicians of many kind. And Nitish Kumar is one of the kind who is a repository of wisdom. So anything coming out of him is wisdom. The rest is trash in the state. So we are succeeded from Lalu Yadav, we migrate to Nitish Kumar, who thinks he's a visionary. But pardon me, I know what he talks and how he talks. But of course, he's a caste figure. He's a symbolically, I'm not a caste figure. I'm not accepted.
Why do you say Nitish is a caste figure?
That is how he has groomed himself. They have not groomed themselves for the betterment of the state or the vision for the better. They have groomed themselves politically for the state, and the people accept it. And that he has done, and that message goes very, I am not groomed politically. I come from I contest elections from Chapra. I contest Rabdi Devi and Lalu Yadav for last 25 years, but I do not portray myself as a rustic like them.
But the whole message when both you and Nitish Kumar were together, the message which was going out was that the electorate voted for both of you, irrespective of caste, good governance, law and order.
Yes, we tried this gentleman. We believed in him, and he let us down heavily. Even if we were there with him or without him, he should have delivered. But he's a self-obsessed person. He can't think beyond a point. So his obsession is Bihar politics, caste, and his own way of politics.
What makes you reach this conclusion that Nitish Kumar is self-obsessed?
You come along with me in Bihar and you see, find out what he is. And the man who decides to survive politics sends a man as a chief minister, the Dalit chief minister, gets him booted out, virtually booted out, grabs back the power, shakes hands with Lalu Yadav, and says he's the best person, comes with the people, says, kuch gadbadiyan ho gayi hai, I've come to beg forgiveness. Does politics. Where is he interested in the state of Bihar? Where?
How do you see this whole alliance emerging, Congress, JDU and Lalu Prasad Yadav, to stop BJP?
So all those people who have lost politics, they come together because they can't survive that. So they all have to get together to fight the BJP. And that's why I say we need BJP for the first time in Bihar. I'm sure we have Nitish against Nitish. I think we have a good leadership. We have Sushil Modi, Nandkishore Yadav. Sushil Modi, of course, we have projected him as a person who is taking charge. He's been taking care of the party. Very sane, very sensible, very progressive. I would feel that all this leadership come together. We can give a challenge to these failed conglomerates who have come together to survive in politics.
Will you have a face in Bihar during elections?
We have a face in Bihar, I think. We have a face in Bihar, so that is not going to be a problem. But we have to fight collectively to see. Our sole objective at this point of time is to form a government.
Mr. Modi and others, Sushil Modi and others.
Yes. Of course, he has played a pivotal role. Even Nandkishore Yadav, even there are many more who are working very hard. We are privileged now that we are union ministers, but we have to fight the battle in Bihar, and we all have to come together.
Let me come to your ministry. Prime Minister had spoken continuously about skill development. Where has this project gone? What are the budgetary allocations?
You see, it's not that the skill development has started yesterday when this government was formed. It was happening. It's not standardized. Mobilization was not there. Structure of training was not there. If structure of training was there, standardization was not there. It was split in 24 ministries. Actually, that concerted. I mean, the National Skill Development Policy we talked in 2009 talked about training 500 million people. Well, if you look at Germany, France, UK, they would have trained workforce to the tune of Japan would be 80%, Germany would be 74%, UK would be 68%, so forth and so on. And so forth and so on. But India today has just 2% of the workforce which is skilled, 1,260 million people. This is the challenge which the Prime Minister thought of, and he thought of doing it.
And you have been talking about skill certificates also.
A lot of things, and I require a full session with you to explain what is skill development. But at the end of the day, Make in India will only happen if we are able to skill India. Look at the country like South Korea, where 96% of the workforce 20 years ago, where they were and where they are. Your skills, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in China, whether it is in Korea, education, yes, is important, but skills is more important today.
Mr. Rudy, of late, Gujarat government passed a law to tackle terror and organized crime. Now, opposition says that it's worse than Kota.
Well, they are free to say anything. And when we are talking about organized crimes, there has been proven tracks where organized crimes and criminal gangs would partner with terrorist groups. And so this provision, which was incorporated and which has been passed as 2015 bill in the Gujarat, earlier it was Gujkok, and I think it's the same format today, which was returned by the president earlier, has some basic ingredients which is important. For any state to grow, stability is very important. Even for the nation to grow, stability is very important. And that is why there are provisions. What are the provisions to fight them out? Confession in front of the police officer is admissible in the court of law. Investigation and charge sheet has to be filed 90 days. It's very difficult when these organized crimes have terror links. It takes more time. There could be international links also. Take it from 90 days to 180 days. Anyone convicted or under trial in this cannot be bailed out. So anything against terror, you want this country not to look like an ISIS country, crusade being handled. We want India to remain India. We want it to be peaceful. We already have a problem sitting next to called Pakistan. So we cannot play soft. There is no question. We have to secure this country. We have to make the people feel safe. And I'm proud and happy that the state government of Gujarat has brought such a provision in the act, has legislated in such way.
But the president rejected it 3 times.
Let us see. Let us see. We have still more logic.
Do you feel that you're being unfairly attacked on
Well,
this
maybe
issue?
Gujarat is the most
On this
developed.
issue?
Let them, I see there is a space of the opposition. Let them do it. But if we are answerable to the people, there are legitimately elected state governments which have to play a role. They have the right to legislate what they think is good for the state.
Because a lot of your colleagues have been saying that when UPA was in power for 10 years, whatever BJP ruled states did, it either got rejected or it went to the cold storage.
You have spoken to yourself, and that's a fact.
Your colleague said it.
Actually it has happened. Why should a legislation being brought by the government, state government, be not accepted by the central government? Why should it be returned back? As long as I am working in the realms of my constitution, I have a right to protect the people of my state.
So you feel that in a way this bill is going to protect the
Overall
integrity of the country?
Not only integrity. If the government of the day feels that there are wires, there are communications, there are provisions in the law which need to be amended to secure a state, be it Gujarat or Maharashtra, I think that liberty should be given to them.
And my last question to you, Mr. Rudy, your government is about to complete a year. What is one thing you can say has made you proud as a politician to be part of the whole process under Mr. Modi's?
Well, to be a part of Mr. Modi's cabinet, I know, I work with him. I'm a parliamentary affairs, a man who decides to come to parliament much before as parliamentary affairs minister. If I plan to meet him at 9:30, he's there at 9:15 in parliament. And the only prime minister I have seen, I've been in parliament and assembly for the last 25 years. The only prime minister who would come at 9:30 in the morning to parliament. There were months and weeks and months before any prime minister would come to parliament for a session. He would be there in parliament, starting his day at 9:30, and I think most of us would have left when he leaves the parliament, which has never happened in the last 66 years. And as a member of parliament, I have never seen a prime minister walk up to a canteen because his cook has not, the cook which cooks his food is not there and he plans to have food. He's an amazing human being. He's an amazing personality. I know many people think differently, but he's an amazing human being, and he is a committed human being. It's wonderful to work with him. It's difficult because he's hands-on, but it's wonderful.
People will say he's a hard taskmaster.
Yes, that's people like us would love to be. I love when people look for me and say, you have to do this, and it's wonderful when bosses are looking for you to do something. And he is, in fact, a very positive person when he comes to work. He gives you a lot of space as a minister, a lot of space. I can tell you, I would not compare it, gives you a lot of space.
So thank you for speaking with us.
Bye-bye.